Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Hey, before we start, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss content like this. And if you enjoy this video until the very end, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with every army you know. Okay, let's go. Imagine this, you are a legendary K-pop idol, someone who has been in the industry for over a decade, someone who has trained their entire life to be the best dancer and performer in the game. And then one day, you are asked, publicly, on camera, what you think about Park Jimin. What happens? Do you stay calm? Do you keep it professional? Or do you completely lose your composure and say something that the entire internet cannot stop talking about? Stick with us until the very end of this video, because we saved the most shocking confession for last, and trust us, you are not going to see it coming. Park Jimin of BTS is not a name that needs much introduction. But what if we told you that the people talking the loudest about his talent are not just the millions of ARMY around the world, they are his own fellow K-pop idols. Artists from different companies, different generations, and different fandoms, all saying the same thing, that Jimin is simply on a different level. Today, we are diving deep into the confessions, the compliments, the collaborations, and the jaw-dropping moments where K-pop stars finally let the world know exactly what they really think about the man they call the idol of idols. To understand why so many K-pop idols speak so highly of Jimin, you first have to understand the world he exists in behind the cameras. In the K-pop industry, there is a famous friendship group that fans have lovingly nicknamed the Padding's Friendship, a squad made up of some of the most elite performers in the industry. This group includes SHINee's Taemin, EXO's Kai, Ha Sung-woon, Timoteo from Hot Shot, and of course, BTS's Jimin. These are not random acquaintances. These are some of the most technically gifted dancers and performers K-pop has ever produced, and they chose Jimin as one of their own. Now here's the thing that makes this so powerful. When a dancer of Taemin's caliber, a man literally referred to as the idol's idol in his own right by media outlets, publicly goes out of his way to praise Jimin, people listen. And that is exactly what happened in 2023, when during a live broadcast, Taemin spoke about his close friendship with Jimin after the two filmed a dance challenge together for SHINee's song, Hard. Taemin said, "And we want you to really hear these words, Jimin is such a good friend. He has such good energy. He is also really talented. His style of dancing, and the sense of artistry that he prefers, have many similar aspects to mine." He then added that when two people with aligned artistic sensibilities work together, the chemistry becomes undeniable. Let that sink in. Lee Taemin, the dancer that generations of K-pop idols have looked up to, the man who set the standard for what a male solo performer could be, is out here saying that Jimin's artistry resonates deeply with his own. That is not a casual compliment. That is one master acknowledging another. And if you think that was surprising, just wait, because we're only getting started. Now let's talk about a moment that almost felt impossible, a moment that K-pop fans had dreamed about for years, the day Big Bang's Taeyong came out of a 6-year musical silence and chose Park Jimin to be the one to bring him back. For context, Taeyong is a legend. He is one of the founding pillars of the K-pop wave as we know it today. His voice, his dancing, his stage presence, these are the things that inspired an entire generation of artists, including Jimin himself. In fact, Jimin has been a self-proclaimed fan of Taeyong since his very early days of debut in 2013. He covered Taeyong's iconic songs like Wedding Dress and Eyes, Nose, Lips, and was even spotted attending Big Bang concerts in the audience. So when these two finally came together in January 2023 for the song, Vibe, it was not just a collaboration, it was a full-circle moment. But here's what really matters. What did Taeyong actually say about working with Jimin? In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Taeyong was incredibly candid. He said that the idea of collaborating with Jimin stuck with him the moment it was first suggested, because he immediately recognized it as something special. And after they finished making the song together, Taeyang made a statement that sent ARMY into absolute meltdown mode. He said that Jimin put in more effort than anyone, and that he is very thankful for that. He also described the whole experience as cohesive, saying that Jimin's hard work directly elevated the quality of both the song and the music video. For one of K-pop's most senior and respected icons to openly say that Jimin worked harder than anyone else involved in the project, that is a confession of the highest order. Taeyang did not have to say that. He chose to. And that tells you everything. Here is something that might surprise you. The title, Idol of Idols, was not something that fans invented for Jimin. It is a title that has been repeatedly used by legitimate Korean media outlets and industry insiders to describe the kind of influence Jimin has had on other performers in the industry. Spanish entertainment media Fluxer now named him as one of the best vocalists in K-pop. Korean magazine IZE published a detailed feature calling him the Idol of Idols, and explaining why that title belongs specifically to him, noting how his voice at the opening of BTS's Blood, Sweat and Tears became a turning point in BTS's entire career trajectory. But what is perhaps even more remarkable is what happens on survival and audition shows in South Korea. On Net's Stage Fighter, multiple contestants revealed on camera that Jimin's performances were a direct inspiration for them pursuing dance in the first place. Think about what that means. These are trainees and young idols, the next generation of K-pop, and the name that keeps coming up as the standard they are trying to reach is Park Jimin. He has even been called the Rookie's Bible, because so many new idols cover his songs and perform his choreography as a way of demonstrating their skill level. An idol called In Juan, speaking in November 2021, said that he thinks it is incredibly cool how Jimin manages to impress people simultaneously with his dance, his singing, and his facial expressions, all at once, in perfect harmony. That level of multi-sensory performance is what sets Jimin apart, and even people inside the industry cannot stop talking about it. Okay, we are halfway through the video and we need to pause here for a second, because here's a question we want you to think about. Is all of this praise from fellow idols just based on feelings and personal admiration? Or does the actual data back it up? Because we would argue the answer is both. Jimin was the first Korean solo artist in history to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, with his 2023 track, Like Crazy, from his debut album Face. His 2024 song, Who, released while he was literally serving in the South Korean military, became the longest charting song by a Korean artist on the Billboard Hot 100 with 33 weeks on the chart, breaking a record previously held by BTS's own Dynamite. In terms of dance recognition, Jimin has been voted the best male dancer in Dabeam Pop's annual vote for 6 consecutive years since 2019, earning himself a total of 20 dance-related titles and the nickname, God of Dance. After his military discharge in June 2025, he immediately topped the brand reputation rankings for individual boy group members, extending his own record as the first and only idol to ever achieve the #1 spot for 35 consecutive months and 50 months overall. In June 2025, the Asia Brand Research Institute placed him at #2 on their K-Brand Index for male idols, ranking just behind G-Dragon, despite Jimin being on a long break due to military service. And on Spotify, he ranked #2 globally with over 6.9 billion streams, achieved with only 2 solo albums. GQ Korea named him the Face of K-pop in 2025. He won K-pop Song of the Year at the 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards. These are not fan votes. These are industry institutions confirming what fellow K-pop artists have been saying all along. Now, here's where things get truly extraordinary, because the admiration for Jimin is not limited to the K-pop industry. It has crossed over into completely different worlds, and the names involved will genuinely surprise you. In 2021, Japanese Olympic figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, one of the greatest figure skaters in the history of the sport, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, publicly shared that he is a BTS fan and specifically mentioned Jimin as a source of inspiration for his movements on the ice. A world-class athlete, someone at the absolute pinnacle of his own discipline, said that watching Jimin move inspired his own performance art. That is the level of cross-industry influence we are talking about. In 2019, award-winning filmmaker and photographer Gus Van Sant, the director behind iconic films like Good Will Hunting and Milk, was asked which artist he most wished to work with. His answer? Park Jimin of BTS. And then in 2023, there was a moment that made the entire internet lose their minds. Ryan Gosling, yes, that Ryan Gosling, personally gifted Jimin the guitar his character Ken used in the blockbuster movie Barbie. Why? Because Jimin's Permission to Dance music video outfit served as one of the direct inspirations for one of the looks Gosling wore in the film. A Hollywood A-lister was walking around in a Jimin-inspired outfit in one of the biggest movies of the year. Let that fully register. We told you we were saving the biggest moment for last, and here we are. Because one of the most jaw-dropping, conversation-stopping moments in recent K-pop history was not a grand ceremony or a formal interview, it was a quiet, personal acknowledgement that spread like wildfire online. When Taemin spoke during his live broadcast about Jimin's artistry and the deep similarities between their dance philosophy and artistic sensibility, fans were floored, not just because of what he said, but because of who was saying it. In the K-pop world, senior idols from different companies rarely go out of their way to publicly and specifically praise a peer with such detail and warmth. And Taemin, who is himself regarded as one of the most influential dancers in the history of K-pop, essentially said that Jimin operates on the same artistic frequency as him. That is the closest thing to a crown being passed between royalty that the K-pop industry has ever seen. And if all of that has you hyped, just wait, because 2026 is about to be absolutely massive. After his military discharge in June 2025, Jimin reunited with his BTS bandmates, and the group is preparing for their highly anticipated full-group comeback album titled Arirang, expected to release on March 20, 2026, which will feature 14 tracks. BTS is also set to kick off a world tour titled the Arirang Tour in April 2026, which is expected to run through 2027. The king is back. The legends are reuniting. And based on everything every single K-pop idol, Olympic athlete, filmmaker, and Hollywood actor has told us about Park Jimin, this comeback is going to be something none of us will ever forget. So what do you think? After everything you've just heard, from Taemin, from Taeyong, from the survival show contestants, from Olympic gold medalists and Hollywood stars, are you surprised? Or did you always know that the K-pop world's open secret about Jimin was just a matter of time before the rest of the world caught up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, we want to know which confession shocked you the most. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with every army you know. We will see you in the next one. Annyeong.